Hi guys, and welcome to another Attack Wing review. As I'm pretty certain a lot of you will be familiar with this, which is the Deep Space Nine model, which was available from Eaglemoss as part of their Starships collection. It's the first special they did. It's a lovely little model. In fact, it's one of my favourites of the whole collection, and I'm really impressed with it, and I love it. However, if you are a fan of Attack Wing, this is a bit small, and of course you don't get any stats with it. There was a competition, one of the OPs, in which you could win your own version of Deep Space Nine, and I didn't, because I didn't take part. So then they went, let's do a retail version. So along comes the retail version, which in comparison to this is an entirely different beast. And here it is. As you can see, just on the scale, if you've got the Eaglemoss one, the Eaglemoss one will actually just sit on top of the three pylons. For size and scale idea, it is just the Eaglemoss one is actually just a bit bigger than the inner ring on your Attack Wing Deep Space Nine. So let's take a look at the Attack Wing Deep Space Nine itself. A little bit of a different setup today. I've had to put the sheet down just so I can get this in properly. It is probably the greatest model that WizKids have done as part of their Attack Wing range. It is just vast. The box itself is huge, and I'm really happy that I managed to get a hold of it. The detail that they've gone into, you've got the aerials on top of ops, you've got the three deflector dishes, you've got all the windows on the promenade here, you've got the docking ring, you've got the little landing pads there for the runabouts, you've got the full detail on all of the pylons, all the detail down the sides as well. It's just absolutely amazing. I'm going to try and just drop in a little bit more closely here, so apologies if I get my finger in my lens, but just to give you a better impression of how amazing this model is. Just look, I mean, I would try and do a sort of pan through as if I was doing the Deep Space Nine titles. But just look at the quality of the detail that you're getting on this thing. It's just incredible. It was quite costly, but for what you're getting, it's just amazing. Just the quality at every point, even down to the little docking rings there, just on the edge. You can come around and see. Just every point on this is just absolutely beautiful. And we can probably get quite into the bottom there and get towards the reactor as well. So you can see underneath. Every point is just absolutely stunning on this one. It truly is one of the best, if not the best models that WizKids have produced as part of this game. Just going to go around it a little bit more. There we go. So you can play this model as Deep Space Nine, or you can play it as Terra Nor. As you will notice on the bottom there, Deep Space Nine is classed as being either a Federation or a Bajoran vessel. I'm just going to bring this camera back up to a better position so we can see the model itself, which luckily, as opposed to the OP prize, came in one piece in the box. So we'll just turn it slightly around. So as you can see there, it does come as either the Federation or Bajoran. If you turn it over, you can have it as the Terra Nor option. So we just lift that base off. You can then flip this piece across, pop it back down again, and then it's the Dominion and Terra Nor. Interestingly, I'm going to pop it back over to the Federation point. You have an inner ring and an outer ring for attack. So your secondary pylons, your main pylons, sorry, these three are from where your secondary weapon fires. So if I just push that forward and just turn slightly, you'll see here that there is a secondary weapon arc. There is an arc here. This is for your torpedoes, quantum torpedoes, and secondary weapons. Your primary weapon is fired from the inner ring and measured at distance 3. These are measured at distance 2. So there is a slight difference in how the weapons are operated. But it is just glorious. Everything's measured from pylon A. So pylon A is the pylon that comes at the top of your base. So the base is at the bottom there. So everything, this is pylon A, then you've got B and C. So pylon B, pylon C. Everything is measured on moves is moved from this one. So differently to a lot of the other models, and let me just grab the movement dial for this one. Differently from the other models, Deep Space Nine can actually be stationary. You can spin her, you can turn her, and you can flank. because there are slight differences in the movement. So flanking means that you can move it a 1 this way, place a 1 against the base and move it that way. You can also do a 2 flank and a 2 forward, so you can move it forwards or a flank. There is also a curving manoeuvre, which they give you a new piece for. I'm just going to pop this down here. So they do actually give you a new piece, which you can turn the station, and it's this piece is at 45 degrees. You actually fit it against the base and then spin the station to another 45-degree angle. This is particularly good if you're looking at using these secondary weapons on the station itself, and how you can position it. I tend to kind of keep the station in probably the same position during the game, and then have my fleet operating around it, under it, through it. And this means that you can kind of use the station as a bit of a nice obstacle as well. There are limitations on movement and firing while you're within it, but as an operational piece, it's fantastic. Just looking at the base as well, you don't actually have a captain place for your captain's token. You just literally put it onto the base. Standard features you've got with DS9 are your target lock, your scan, and your battle stations. If we just spin it around a little bit more, you'll be able to see as well that you've got a 5 in attack. Let's see if I can spin that around a little bit more. It's not going to probably work with the camera, but you've got a 5 in attack, you've got a 0 in agility, you've got an 8 hull and an 8 for your shields. So there's quite a bit to go at if you're an opposition force. And it's just a cracking piece of kit to play with, especially if you put it against a fleet. I've tried it against a Klingon fleet, and it really did hold up. It was probably the backbone of my entire operation. I had a Defiant class, Delta Flight, and a Nebula class as part of that. So that's sort of 4-ship fleet, if you will, including DS9, against a sort of a fleet of 5 Klingon ships, 3 Birds of Prey, a Negvar, and the Mokhtar Vulture attack cruiser from the box. But I've still got to say, this is just, even just as a display piece, this is still one of the greatest models that I've seen produced for a game, if nothing else. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to just show you the cards that come with the pack, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so let's tackle Deep Space Nine. I'm going to pull the station in a little bit so we can just coast. There you go. Previously still got it out. Just going to pull the station in, and let's take a look at the cards you get with the pack. So I did this as a Periscope piece a while back, and I was disappointed with the quality, to be honest, and wanted to do a better one. So here it is now. So station itself, let's pop these down and we'll see what we've got. So we have Deep Space Nine, Nor class orbital space station. 5 attack, as we said. Nothing on your agility. 8 hull, 8 shields. 44 points. It's 16, 17, 18, 19, 22. So it is double the points on there. 22 points for this basics, up to a 44-point ship. So it's immediately going to be over that. So if you're looking at 40-point maximum for your ships, you are going to have a little bit of an interesting game playing with this one. As I said, Federation and Bajoran factions. 3 standard. You have 3 crew slots, 2 weapons, and a tech. Interestingly, with the pack, you only get crew options. So you are going to have to mine other packs to give you the options and availability on these slots. So, unique action for Deep Space Nine is each time you defend during the roll defense dice step, you may roll up to 2 additional defense dice. If you do, disable one of your active shields for each additional die you roll. So you can have some form of defense, but you are going to lose a shield for each time you defend. Remember, you've got nothing to start with here. There's nothing at all that you're going to be able to work with. So you are going to be tempted to pillage a lot of other ships to get items which are going to help you defend in this. I know you've still got 16 points, but imagine how fast that could go down if you're getting a repeated attack in one round. So definitely take advantage of this if you're going for it. Movement wise, you are restricted, as we said. You can do a stop, you can do a turn, you can spin it, you can do a flank. In fact, you get 6, let's bring these in, 6 sides of cards which do in fact detail everything from how to place the ship on, how it labels the pylons. So you've got A, B and C, the features of it, how the pylons work, You've got an entire piece on attacking with the station. So as you can see there, each pile has a 90-degree forward firing arc, make fire range 1 to 3. The main body has a range 1 to 2, so primary weapon, so I apologise for that. So actually did get it wrong, and I thought I did when I said it. So the central piece, your inner ring, where your primary weapons are fired from, is a 1 to 2, and then your secondary weapons is a 3, and that's fired from these points here, which we've seen on the pylons, these 90-degree arcs that are placed on there. Also gives you indications on how to use the maneuvering piece, so you can use the turning 45-degree dial, and also how to perform these sort of flanking maneuvers and how to move them using the 1 and the 2 pieces. So as you see there, you place the 1 as the gap, as the point you want to go to. You then use another piece as the edge, remove the piece that you're moving with initially, and then place you'll then move the base to the point, so you're actually moving it through. So I'll just show that a bit closer to give you an idea of how that works. There you go. So you're making the move in this first one, then you remove that piece that you want to make the move of and move the station to a butt, to a piece that you've got to give you an edge. Pretty straightforward. And the third one is looking at how you overlap, how you mark the station's position in relation to ships, and how you can kind of do that as well. So there's a lot of extra information that goes into this one with these 6 cards that they give you as part of the pack, but definitely worth reading through. Some interesting movers, to say anything above the 2, anything at that 2 stage is going to cause you to gain an auxiliary power token. Interestingly, on the card, it does show you've got independent faction on here as well, which is really odd because there's no indication or anything else that it is independent faction. Even if you look at the Terek Nor ship option, it just has that Dominion piece on there, but apparently according to this it can be independent. So there's 4 in here, but only 3 actually come with any card. So that's your maneuvers. The turning one is probably the one you'll use the most. Flanking, you're just so slow, it's just not even worth thinking about, to be honest with you. As Terek Nor, you still have exactly the same stats. It still costs you 44 points, but look at the difference in the upgrades that you've got there. So you've got, as for Terek Nor, you've got 2 tech, you have 2 weapons and 2 crew, as opposed to the ones you've got for Deep Space Nine. So there is a slight change there. You've still got your 3 standard battle stations, scan and target lock. And your unique action for Terek Nor, unusually, it is a station that comes with 2 cards, both of which are unique. So instead of making a normal attack with your primary weapon, you make fire in any direction at range 1 to 3 with 4 attack dice. So this is allowing you to do a full 360 primary weapon shot in any direction with 4 attack dice. So you've got 5, it's stopping you from having the restriction of using your primary weapon. So what we've got here is just a nice option of how you can change your firing ability. And if you remember on the firing ability, if we go back to firing with the space station, there you go. It says during the combat phase, you can perform 1 attack against an enemy ship, its forward firing arc. During the target ship may use one of the space station's pylons, forward firing arcs, in the main body of the station when choosing which enemy ship he wishes to attack. So as I said, the main body of the station is the 360 firing arc, and that only has a range 1 to 2. What this is giving you is the option that you can actually fire it up to range 3 using the center of the station. So there is that little bit of benefit. You're losing a point on your attack, but you are gaining that 1 extra range, which is going to give you a little bit further to actually attack your enemies. So a nice little move there. Let's pull those cards out of the way. So let's look at your captain option. There is only one captain option, and it is, of course, Benjamin Sisko. He comes with a captain skill of 7, can use an elite action, of which there are none in the pack, and is going to cost you 4 points. He is unique. This is my 3rd Sisko, I think, if I include the ones in later waves. But hey, during the roll defense die step of the combat phase, if your ship is in the forward firing arc of 2 or more ships, roll 1 extra defense die against all attacks from these ships. So effectively, you're going up to potentially 3 defense dice with Deep Space Nine if you're using it as DS9, using that feature, and then using Sisko. However, each time your ship receives a damage card, normal or critical, you increase your captain skill by 1 for the rest of the game, maximum up to 2. So what you actually do get with Deep Space Nine, because as we said, you just put the captain token onto the bottom, is you get a 7 Sisko, you get an 8 Sisko, and you get a 9 Sisko. So you can actually increase your skill and keep an eye on where you are as well during the game. which is very nice of them. You actually get 2 of each of these. Not really much point because you only need to put 1 onto the base of your station. Nice idea. Even if your damage is repaired, you're still going to get to use the captain skill. So effectively, Cisco can get himself up to a 9, which is pretty much the maximum. I know Shinzon's up there, Captain Kirk is up there as well on the 9s. So it's a great opportunity to have somebody who's going to be able to fire first during the late stages of the game. So as you get more damage, you actually become a stronger opponent. Very nice card, particularly useful with the station. To be honest, I'm just using, he's one of those cards you just want to use with really anything because of the advantage that he's going to give you on that captain skill. So to the crew, it's a very mixed bag, and you'll see what I mean as we go through. So I'm going to go through in cost order. So we start off with Quark, who is a Ferengi character. So this, you'll find from the cards here that there are multiple factions included with this. So Quark, at the start of the game, place 1 non-Borg tech or weapons upgrade with a cost of 5 or less face down beneath this card. At the time, you may discard Quark to flip the upgrade that is beneath the card face up and deploy it to your ship, even if it exceeds your restriction. So you can have a card of up to 5 points, tech or weapon, that you can then pop on to your ship. So particularly for Ferengi ships, this is going to be a really great advantage to have this one. Low cost, discard Quark, flip a weapons card. You can have anything under there: quantum torpedoes, photon torpedoes, a grappling hook. There's a lot of options you could put and have there sort of hidden away, ready to fire with Quark. So not a great cost for a discard, but it does give you a bit of a 2-for-1 benefit in there. Getting an extra one, plus you get a nice little feature. Moving up to 3 points, we have an independent character. We have Vic Fontaine. I would love to know who picked the crew for this option, because there are some people who are blatantly missing that I would have put in this. It counts as either a tech or a crew upgrade of your choice. If the enemy upgrade would affect one of your crew upgrades, roll the 2 defense dice. If you roll at least 1 evade result, ignore the effects of the enemy upgrade. You do not pay a faction penalty when deploying this upgrade to a Federation ship. So nice thing with Vic is you can put him on DS9, for example. If you're using him with that, you can put him on an independent ship. If an enemy upgrade would affect one of your upgrades, your crew ones, particularly if you're Federation, that's going to be a lot of the stuff you've got on your ship. This one's going to be a nice one to stop you getting any effect, any damage from that upgrade. So all you got to get is 1 evade, and trust me, with the ability that I roll with, I get evades quite a lot. So I'd probably have this card readily available. 3 points for this one, particularly with Deep Space Nine. Imagine the benefit this is going to give you, particularly because you've got such a low defensive score to begin with, i.e. 0, and you can go up to 2 if you're using Deep Space Nine. Good card. For 4 points, you can have Garrick. So, as we know, there isn't a Cardassian faction, it is just Dominion. He costs you 4 points for crew, and the great thing with the Garrick is that you can field an elite action. So, during the modified defense dice step of the combat phase, you can disable this card to add 1 evade result to your defense roll. If you look at this pack, a lot of the stuff, again, is around adding more defensive ability to the station, because you don't start off with anything. And it's a disable, it's 4 points, it means you can keep reusing him to increase your defense. You don't pay a faction penalty when assigning Garrick or his elite upgrade to your ship. If Garrick is ever disabled or discarded, you cannot use his elite upgrade, which is kind of pretty straightforward. But hey, cracking idea, it's going to give you more defense. Nice that you can put him onto any ship, whatever, because of that little phrase at the end. So nice upgrade, nice Garrick version, definitely one that's a really good option if you bought with this ship. Then we come to Roll. As you may remember, a Romulan that actually appeared in 2 episodes. Martha Hackett, who played her, is more famous for playing Seska in Voyager. You add 1 tech upgrade to your upgrade bar. So if you're playing this as the standard station, for example, it will take your upgrades, your tech upgrades up to 2. If you're playing as Terek Nor, it will take them up to 3. When your ship is cloaked, interesting, because of course DS9 can't cloak, during the roll defense dice step of the combat phase, you may choose to roll 3 defense dice, less defense dice, and add 1 evade results to your defense roll. Interesting, the fact that you don't have any defense dice to start with this one, so it's much more an option you'll be using on a Romulan ship. If the cloaking device upgrade is deployed to roll ship, you do not need to discard that card when you perform the action listed on it. So, yeah, I'm not sure how much you're going to play this one with. Well, you just won't. It'll end up being a Romulan card that you'll use on a Romulan option. So you're more likely to put her onto a warbird or a scout ship or whatever. It's not really one that you're going to use with this one. It's just nice that they put it in this. I would have thought this would have been more suitable put into a pack, perhaps with the Defiant, than this one, because you'll see there are still cards that are definitely missing from this pack. Because we have Takar. Again, a Klingon who appeared in one episode. The actor is Tim Russ, better known for playing Tuvok, again in Voyager. 5 points for this one. I've actually skipped to 4.1, but we'll come back to him in a minute. Klingon faction. If your ship is not cloaked, disable all your remaining shields and target a ship at range 1 to 2 that is not cloaked and has no active shields. Discard this card and one crew upgrade of your choice on the target ship, then disable the captain card and all remaining crew upgrades on the target ship. While the captain card is disabled, the target ship has a skill of 1. So this guy really does play havoc with your crew cards. Imagine using this against a Federation where you are kind of crew dependent. It's going to absolutely kill any of your upgrades, pretty much stone dead. And imagine trying to re-enable one of those each time. This is a cracking card for a Klingon player. Gives you a lot of options. Does mean disabling your shields, but for the 5-point discard, this could play real havoc, particularly in the later stages of a game. Really like it. Good option. Amazingly, our only actual Federation crew member is this guy. It's Julian Bashir. So there's no Dax. We don't have a Chief O'Brien. There is no Major Kira as part of this pack, but we get a Julian Bashir. He's a 4-point. I apologise, I should have shown him before the 5 one. You can move a disabled upgrade token from one of your disabled crew or tech upgrades to one of your non-disabled tech or crew upgrades. You can then immediately perform the action listed on the upgrade as a free action. Nice one. I like this card because you can play about with what's happened. So imagine one of your crew upgrades has been disabled by Mr. Takar, for example, or if you had one disabled in another way, you can move it and then use it. So it actually does open up a few possibilities and means that you might be more able to sort of get away with a few things during the game. So a very nice flexible card. 4 points on this one. And note on this card, there is no mention of him having to be disabled or discarded. So he's a kind of a nice reusable one. With the station, imagine just being able to just continuously reuse your options. Finally, we have one more independent option. We have 2 independent options with Vic Fontaine. We have Odo. Odo is a 5-pointer, so target a ship at range 1 to 3, even if it's cloaked or has active shields. You can disable Odo and 1 upgrade on the target ship. If the upgrade you disable is a crew upgrade, you can then use that upgrade's action, if any, as a free action. So, again, a great one to use against Federation ships, where you can take, effectively, Odo can mimic that action, which is what he does. I think one of many cards that Odo is featured on is a lot of mimicking other actions and other pieces on other cards. Another great move, very, very useful. Certainly one I would recommend using. And I just don't see how you can go wrong with this one. So yeah, a really, really good little card there for Odo. Good options. Definitely going to be a big help as part of the station. But saying that's it. You don't even get a mission card with this one. You don't get any elite actions. You get nothing. It literally is the station and a pack of crew cards and the ship cards for this one. However, still probably the best model that has been produced as part of the series. I will just drop the Deep Space Nine card back in just to finish this one off. Yeah, an absolutely cracking model, a cracking space addition to your attack wing. Hopefully we'll be able to soon bring you the Weapon Zero option. But for now, thank you very much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's a beast of a ship. I'm going to try and just lift this up very slowly and see if I can get another good shot. There we go. There we go. So that is Deep Space Nine in all its glory. And with this final shot, I will see you again soon.
Transfer complete.